Welcome to Invest Insights. I'm Abbey Maloney. I'm joined today by Abbey Omodunbi, the PNC Bank's Florida economist. Abbey, it's wonderful to have another Abbey. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, Abbey.
As PNC Bank's Florida economist, what are your estimations on how Florida will bounce back in 2021 as compared to some of the northeastern states?
Florida's economy has had lighter restrictions compared to other northeastern states. And this has meant that economic activity has been at a much higher level compared to other states. Now, this has been seen being reflected in the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate in Florida is at about 6%, while the unemployment rate in New York is at about 8%. Now, one of the bright features of Florida's economy is that it's a very diverse economy, but it's still very reliant on the services sector. And the services sector bore the brunt of this recession, which we had in 2020. Looking forward, we will get a full recovery by the end of this year. So our forecast is for Florida's economy to return to its pre-pandemic level by the end of this year. And that's mainly due to the fact that, many congregate businesses where people have to congregate, wouldn't return back to normal until the vaccines are rolled out. So there's a lot of pent-up demand, which is going to be unleashed by consumers. And consumers just haven't really had the opportunity to spend yet because of these lockdowns. So our forecast is for Florida's economy to return to its pre-pandemic level by the end of this year.
We also have a new administration at the helm. What transformations would you like to see on a regulatory front for the banking and financial service industries?
Right. So the banking and financial sector actually wasn't a very strong footing before this pandemic started. And that was mainly due to the fact that there were so many stringent regulations that were passed after the Great Recession, which banks and the financial sector have benefited from. So banks have very high capital ratios and also liquidity ratios to, just get them ready for stressful situations. Going forward, my suggestion will be that, when another stimulus bill is passed, that loans are directed to the small and mid-sized businesses that need them the most. So that'll be my advice for the incoming administration.
You just mentioned a possible other stimulus package. Do you think that we will get it? And is it essential for economic recovery right now?
All right, so one of the reasons why we've made so much progress now from an economic standpoint has been because of the aggressive stimulus measures passed by both Congress and the Federal Reserve. So there have been, several rounds of stimulus passed, which is, boosted consumer spending and, had us make so much progress so far. Going forward, it's extremely important for us to get additional stimulus, and this is because there are many sectors and, industries that are still struggling right now. The restaurant industry is struggling, the airline industry is struggling, hotel industry is struggling. So it's extremely imperative for there to be additional stimulus passed by the current administration for there to be a full recovery. Now, if stimulus isn't passed, it's going to be a very sluggish recovery. So it's extremely important for there to be additional stimulus passed to make this recovery strong.
What is your outlook for the housing market in 2021 as it pertains to Florida?
All right, so the housing sector has been one of the bright spots of the U.S. economy for the past year. It's really led this economic recovery we've had. And, we saw very strong house price growth, residential house price growth in 2020. And we expect to see house price growth again in 2021, but less than what we saw in 2020. Florida has also had very strong house price growth, and the house price growth has been supported by strong demand due to the extremely low mortgage rates and also by strong consumer balance sheets. Some of the bright spots in Florida has been the Tampa market, for example, that has seen very strong gains in the past year. Orlando and Miami have also seen strong gains in the past year. So looking forward, we expect growth in the residential housing sector to continue, but at a slower pace than what we experienced in 2020.
Part of that puzzle are the snowbirds. Florida traditionally has our snowbirds. I'm based in Miami. They come down during the winter season. Do you, and we've seen that trend throughout the past number of decades, but do you believe that this trend will continue in a post-pandemic world? And how will that affect the Florida economy?
Right, like you mentioned, so the population dynamics in Florida were very solid even before this pandemic started. There's been solid in-migration. So folks relocating from other states into Florida because it's a very attractive economy and just attractive place to live. There are tax benefits. There's no personal income tax. And it's also a very diverse economy. So one of the things we've seen during this pandemic has been that many companies have been very flexible with their working arrangements, which has resulted in many employees working from home. Now, it remains to be seen if these policies are going to remain once the pandemic ends. If companies are more open to their employees working from home permanently, then we're going to see economies like Florida benefit from this in the long run.
And this year has been definitely a transformative one. And while it has transformed us on the professional side, it also transformed us on the personal side. How have you transformed this past year?
Right. So it's been a very challenging 2020. Over 20 million jobs were lost in March and April last year. Close to 500,000 people have lost their lives due to this health crisis. So it's been challenging on many fronts for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. Personally, it's really just given me the opportunity and just made me just really more thankful, about family, about having good health and things like that. I think one of the things I've had to adjust has been working from home. So, this has been my office for the past year since last March. So, that was a challenge initially because I love being around people. I get energized by being around people. But, it was a challenge to adjust to it initially. But, I found a way to maintain high productivity levels even while working from home. But again, just looking at just everything that has happened, I think it's really made me just very thankful for like life, health, and family.
Well, thank you again. That was Abbey Omodunbi, the PNC Bank's Florida economist. My name is Abby Maloney, and you've been watching Invest Insights. Thank you again, Abby.
Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you can stay up to date on the latest business trends from our knowledgeable experts. Be sure to check out the description below for more information on the segment you just watched. Thanks for tuning in.